what's up? I'm Amin Dhillon, and welcome to my podcast. I'm sitting down with the movers and shakers and the stars to chat about life, love, business, and being a total boss. It's raw, it's candid, it's the stories behind the headlines. This is In Conversation.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have an individual whose name in Hindi means introduction. And I guarantee you, he does not need one. Make some noise for the extremely talented Parichay!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Amin Dhillon, and my guest today is a very talented singer, songwriter, and producer. Parichay is here. Hey buddy, how's it going?
All right, what's going on? Happy
Good to have our reunion here.
Yeah, definitely.
By the way, I feel like we have been kind of crisscrossing our journeys for so long that I think we can say we're friends.
2 days in Canada.
We're friends now, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're media friends, but we're going to say friends too. So I was going to tell you this before we start recording, but I'm going to tell you this on the podcast now. I came across some footage from India Day, I think 2013. Remember I was MC and you were performing?
Yeah, that's right.
And first of all, I'm like, why are we babies? And it was funny because, do you remember that performance?
Yeah, of course I do.
And remember
we had to switch up the entire set based on the audience.
No, but also something happened. We were missing something.
There was no drum kit on stage.
Yeah, so we had to kill time, which as an MC, that's always fun to hear. So I was like, well, I guess I'll do what I naturally do. I'll just interview him. And we interviewed you on stage.
That was like a half my brain was just thinking about the drum kit coming back on stage, but we winged it somehow. I don't remember any of the questions or the interview, but
I was just
I know we
winging
did
it too.
it,
Yeah, but it was really funny because it was kind of cool,
time.
and the audience is just like, "Is this gonna be it?" Like,
where's the show?
Yeah, and I'm just
music.
like, "What did you eat for breakfast?"
I think somebody even yelled it.
People
Music.
were yelling. Yeah, I know. Get off the stage. Not you, singer. You stay. So.
Nah, both of us,
But that's why it's cool because I was thinking back and I remember like you were telling me about the hustle and, you know, getting these performances. And we just chatted a little while ago about, you know, you're on tour now. You're trying to be everywhere nationally. And touring is super important to artists like you. I
started my career from doing cover shows. And when I say cover shows, I'm talking Indian weddings and, you know.
Oh, really?
I must have done over 1,000 shows.
Yeah.
And that was just singing straight Bollywood and, you know, Punjabi songs, cover songs.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 2 and 3 hours straight, you know what I mean, with the band. So that's where I started from. And then eventually I felt like there's so much music in me. Why am I just singing someone else's songs? You know what I mean? So I started doing my own stuff.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to the next.
Yeah. So actually, talk to me about your first ever performance. I know you've done so many.
My first performance?
Do you remember your first performance?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't.
What is the earliest performance you do remember?
I would say I was a kid and I performed on ZTV's Antakshari.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It used to come on TV back then. And Sonu Nigam's younger sister was my partner.
Oh.
And she's still a good friend of mine. It's been a long time. But yeah, that was the first performance. And we kind of won the children's episode or whatever. So that was good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
So this literally, you've grown up in this business.
I guess.
Yeah,
But I always took it for granted, though, to be very honest with you, because
Why?
I did the corporate world thing, you know what I mean, for a long time.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Worked for Dell, worked for Apple, worked for some
When?
very large companies.
Because ever since I've known you.
No, I used to do that. Music was always part-time for me back then. Yeah, so I used to work full-time and then come do music and all that. But then I realized if you give music part-time, music gives you back part-time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I had to pull the plug on that. And, you know, it's been good. It's a hustle, though. It's not an easy industry to be in. But you got to put in time, and consistency pays off in the end.
You were born in Mumbai, which I think is interesting because for me, we always say you're Indo-Canadian artist, but it's cool that you actually were born in the land of Bollywood music and the land of Bollywood films.
I was born in Jew, you know what I mean? That's where all the celebrities live.
Like literally, you must have been born on a film set or something. It's like that common. Because if you ever go to Mumbai, it's like film city. It's like everywhere you go, somebody's in the business, somebody's doing something. So is that kind of
to
where
a
you
point
were
where
like,
people don't even care anymore? You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. It's like something. It's like, oh, cool, you're a model
it's
and
like,
you're a
it's
Miss
like
India.
LA, right? Yeah, exactly.
If you don't actually have a connection to the film industry, that's where they're like, oh, why are you here? Like,
Yeah.
why aren't you in like
And
Delhi?
it's getting up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the film industry is getting tighter and tighter. So if you don't already have your foot in there, it's gonna be a tough ride because it's just such a family business right now.
It is. So then, is that kind of how you got that Bollywood bug when you're?
No, I never wanted to do Bollywood music.
Even though you're surrounded by it.
I was surrounded by it. I was singing Bollywood songs, but I grew up in Scarborough, right? So there's no Bollywood music. There's barely any desis around me. So I was always into hip hop and R&B, and I grew up to soca. I went to every West Indian jam.
It's very Scarborough,
Yeah. Every West Indian party you can think of, I was there. So I grew up to chutney, soca, hip hop, R&B, and I remember back in 07, I was sitting with Boy Wonder, who's now like a multiple Grammy Award winner or whatever. And he came by and dude was like, what are you working on, man? He goes, I'm working on this artist called Drake. And I go, oh, for real? Who's that? And he goes, you're the guy from Degrassi, bro. I go, oh, no way. I go, yeah, okay.
Jimmy
on the wheelchair. He's like, yeah. I go, for real? He goes, yo, dude, he got like 1 million hits on MySpace, because MySpace was the ish back then, right?
Oh, we're taking it way back now.
This is 07, yeah. So I go, oh, for real, 1 million hits? That 1 million hits on MySpace is big. So I go, oh, that's dope. So now we already know that's history. But I was at a junction where it's like, am I going mainstream? Because I did work with Wonder. I got a couple tracks with him, haven't been released yet. But so am I doing mainstream production? Because I always loved hip hop, you know what I mean? But at the same time, am I going to do Desi urban music? Because no one was doing it in Canada at the time, you know? To be very honest, people frowned upon Hindi music back then. Punjabi music's always been cool.
Yeah.
Because even in the UK Asian music scene was popping, and Rishi was a friend of mine. And he's doing well in Bollywood now, but he was killing it. You know what I mean? It was that Jay Sean, Juggy D era. And Hindi music was always like, because Bollywood, the benchmark for Bollywood was really low back then, if you think about it. There was no internet, not like it is now. There was internet, but not like Instagram and stuff like that. So the dances they had, the production wasn't all that. The music, the sounds, it was more about just the melody and lyrics. They didn't really pay attention to production, and so it wasn't considered cool, because in the West we care a lot about the production, the beat, the music, and it was always considered a fob thing, to be very honest. You know what I mean? So then when I did Divana Tera with Roach and Blitz, that was like something no one had kind of heard before, right? And I remember this because that was my first major video, and we had a mod, what do you call this? An audition. To pick models or whatever.
That was so hard.
And we had no idea what was going to happen or if anyone was even going to show up, to be very honest. I was sitting with Aaron, who had just done Nelly Furtado videos. And
okay.
Yeah, so I said, dude, I need you to do this. And I remember 2 weeks before the shoot, he's like, bro, I don't know if I could do this Bollywood shit. So can I use
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he goes, I don't know if I could do this Bollywood shit. I'm like, bro, it's 2 weeks to go.
Yeah,
and
it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late now. I go, I don't want a Bollywood video.
Yeah.
I don't want Bollywood. I want an urban video. Just because I'm singing in Hindi doesn't mean shit. He goes, oh, for real? Okay, then we could do it. I go, yeah, I don't want a Bollywood, because he's probably on YouTube trying to, research Bollywood.
It's like Madhuri Dixit. He's like, is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, he goes, yeah, I'm not trying. I go, bro, I don't want that. Anyway, so we showed up to the audition. I'm not even lying to you. Like 60 girls showed up.
Wow.
Back in 08, 09, 2008. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy, because YouTube was barely out, you know what I mean? And mainstream, and we didn't even know how to get the news out that, we're having an audition, blah, blah. But I couldn't believe it. And then we obviously went through selection process, did the video, and then at the launch party, I got someone from my team to hit up media in Toronto. And I said, listen, it's never been done before. Just hit him up saying we're having a launch party. Let's see who comes out. And so we had a limo and everything, and we showed up, and we honestly were expecting maybe one camera, if anything, right? I'm not even lying to you. We showed up to, this was Film Lounge, okay, on Richmond. And I knew the owner, Sam, back then, and it doesn't exist anymore. But we showed up, and we had like 15 cameras.
Wow. There
was all these different channels, and I go, holy, we didn't even know how to get out the limo in proper fashion, at the time. And it's just like, whoa, what's going on, guys? So we got out, and everything else is history. But what I'm trying to say was I took that song to India at the time. Took it to Sony Music. I sat there with the head of Sony. And she said to me, you know what, it sounds great, but we don't have any street life in India. So hip hop is really not going to make sense. Rap's not going to make sense. But the fact that you have melody in the rap, because I had Joe Lewis on Custom Say, which was a song that was doing really well here in the UK. And Divana Tere had Roach on it, but there's melody in it, right? So, and she said, it sounds good, but, you know, rap's not going to work in India. Those were her words. And look at what's going on right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I even played that song. I wouldn't take names, really. I don't want to bait someone out. But I played that song to a very big composer, you know, and I said, I got this record, man. This is the future of music, you know what I'm saying? Like, believe me, this is what's going to come. Oh, it's too new, bro. Like, it's not Bollywood, bro. And I was like, all right, cool. Same dude isn't. I already work with him, you know, and same dude already called me and wants me to produce records now. So I'm not trying to get at someone, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of stuff started from here, you know, whether it's the UK or Canada, and we're just trying to bring the new sound to India now.
For me, you're like a pioneer, and I love that because you're so passionate about music. Like I've known you so many years now. I think as soon as I think 2011 is when we probably started like interacting.
That's right,
when I moved here, and like that's one thing I've always respected about you. You're so passionate. You're not doing it for the fame, for the money, for the girls, for the limo rides.
Those are good things.
Those are good things. And I think you told me like that stuff comes and goes, right? But you are so passionate that you're constantly like coming up with new tracks.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
But you know what it is? It's also the mentality. I'll tell you, in the West out here, everybody wants to come out with the new-ish. You know what I mean? We want the new sound. We want to experiment. A lot of times it won't work, but you want to do something different. But in Bollywood, I guess it's a film industry. There's a lot of money at stake with every song. There's, you know, $1 million at stake, if not more, on every record. So they want to make sure, because then the film banks off the success of the movie to pull people into the theaters. So they really want to eliminate as much risk as possible. So it's a very different mindset. So with them, it's like, I like this song. Give me a variation of that because that was a hit. And that was a mentality I wasn't ready for. You know what I mean? I'm not used to that. I don't like that vibe at all. But hey, that's an industry. If you walk into a territory, then those are the rules you got to play it. You know what I mean? So we're always experimenting, but necessarily it might be a little too forward for that industry. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the challenge, to find something that people's ears are tuned to at the same time it's new, and to find that balance is where the real challenge is at.
Of course. Okay, so then actually let's talk about it. So when you were like, okay, I want to make music, this is something I want to like do on the side, and hopefully make it my full-time career. What was it like knocking on doors? Like, I mean, obviously people, it sounds like they weren't ready for change, but are people nice? Like, are people like, yeah, we support new talent coming in, like I see you hustling?
They're very, very open.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of new people have gotten chances in the industry. Of course, it's cutthroat. It's not difficult to rise very quickly. But they're definitely open to it.
So is it you pick up the phone and go, hey, I'm a new artist.
That's what I did.
Can I play some music for you? They're open to that.
Yeah, that's what I did. I never,
That's amazing.
I always got meetings, you know what I mean? So I just picked up the phone and said, hey, I want to come meet you. This is a song I got, whether it's a label, whether it's a composer, you just got to find what works for you. Because a lot of times, you got to know what you want to do. You know what I mean? My problem sometimes is I do too much. So if I'm singing, you know what I mean? I'm producing and I'm composing. That eliminates a lot of opportunities, because if I go meet a composer, where is he going to put me? You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, you could do this yourself, so why are you coming to me type of stuff. So I got to meet the film producers and the directors and the labels. So it's just filtering out what works for you. If you're just a plain singer, you can approach a lot more people, because then they know, oh, this guy or this girl's just a singer. They're going to come do their job and get out of here. But you know what I mean? So yeah, you just got to pick up the phone and go for it, man. In
terms of actually getting work, what do you think was like the moment where you're like, this is my biggest opportunity? Like, this is like no going back now. Like, I'm going to be in this industry.
Oh, I knew that from day one. Yeah. As soon as
Really?
Yeah.
How are you so confident? What's the secret to that?
I'm telling you, it's not confident. It's the hustle. You put in so much time. You go through so many ups and downs. And, you know, I just know that in a year from today, I'm going to be very close to where I want to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I put in 15 years in this grind. You know what I mean? 15 years of music, just hustling. I have over 2,000 songs unreleased. I lost a 4 terabyte drive. I lost 600 songs on it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, sorry. I lost 600 gigs worth of music out of the 4 terabytes, you know? But my point is, when you're just constantly working and working and work, there's got to come a time when you win in anything you do. When you put in the grind, you'll get your moment. You know what I mean? So it's just constantly wanting to get better and better and better. And success, what is success? Ultimately, success is relative. It's what's your definition of success might be different from someone else's, right? So as long as I'm I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and you know, there's progress. That's the key. I think there has to be progress. If you're stagnant, you got to make some changes. But as long as there's progress, I think, you know, people are moving in the right direction. It's just, where do you want to go? And for me, what's important is I want to continue doing music full time. I love traveling. I love performing. I love just being in the studio working on records with different artists, and I'm doing that, so it's perfect.
Okay, so you've worked with so many incredible names. One of the ones that I was like, I remember when you told me this, I was like, what? Nargis Fakhri. She's like gorgeous. She's very talented. She's from New York. You might remember her from America's Next Top Model. Like, I love the fact that she's not your typical desi girl that grew up in India and got a chance. She's an outsider, just like you. Didn't grow up speaking Hindi or Punjabi. And you were the man that somehow convinced this supermodel to be like, hey, not only do I think you should go on this music track with me, but I think you should do it in Punjabi. So guys, like, that's how amazing you are, that you make people believe in.
No, actually it's her. I'll give her all the credit, because you can pitch whatever to anybody, but a lot of times people will back off, right? They don't want to venture into something that's outside their comfort zone.
So take us back to the meeting.
I sent her 3 songs, and I said, let me know which one you vibe.
Wait, take us back. Did you know her, or you
no,
just
I didn't know
cold
her.
called?
No, it was through my management.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then I sent 3 records, and I heard back saying, I like this joint. And the funny thing is, I sent 3 records to Cardi as well, and he had liked the same one.
Yeah.
So I said, let's bring this together. That's how it worked out. Through my boy Joe Lewis, actually, big shout out to him. The Cardi thing happened through him. So the song was done, and then I had this little portion in the middle, which is the drop, right? And that was a spot where we could have left it with just music or added some vocals. So I said, you know what? I spoke to Anurag Bedi, who's the head of Z, and I said, I want to get Nargis to sing a little piece. He's like, sure, go for it. I'm like, all right. He's awesome. He's always given me like full freedom with the creative side. So I said, listen, let's do this. She's like, cool. I said, I'm going to hit touchdown in Toronto. Once you get there, the first day you get there, just chill out. I can't remember the exact schedule, but I was like, we'll jump in the studio. We'll see how it goes. We got an hour, because I think someone from the OVO crew or someone was showing up to the studio right after. So we just had an hour. So we'll get in the studio. We'll give it a shot. If it works, it works. If not, we scrap it. All right, cool. And she was down. She's like, no, man, I want to get this right. So how do you say it? Habitavagardi, Habitavagardi. So that took a bit.
I wish we had footage of her when she was like, do you? Can you send it to me?
Oh, man, I got like...
Will she kill you if you send it to me?
5 gigs worth of footage, just like behind the scenes from the studio.
You're going to send me. I want to
I'll
see, because we only see the end product. I want to see her when she was learning.
Yeah, and then
not because I want to make fun
it.
of her, but just because I can relate, because it's hard.
And it's hard, but what's important is someone's drive to want to do it.
Yes.
So she's like, dude, I just want to do it, but not just do it, I want to do it right. Like it can't sound like someone from outside trying to, you know, mimic it. But she did a good job. So it was 2 lines. It wasn't that much stuff to pick up.
Yeah.
But she put in the effort.
So do you think that's kind of the secret when you're doing these collaborations? Do you look for people that, is it like more of a like chemistry, or is it, this person works hard like me, so you know what, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but let's work together.
That's what it is. It's a lot of times it's the drive, right? So I record a song with Sonakshisinha.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know you told me this. Is it released yet?
No. It's
you keep teasing me with this song.
It's the project is there. I have the track ready and whatever. But it's not even the project. I want to tell you about the process. Now with her, a lot of people have written her off as a singer. You know what I mean? Like, I know she had some Twitter beef and this, that with a bunch of artists, and all the stuff went on during the Justin Bieber concert in India. So I don't know the whole story, but there was some ups and downs like that. But when I worked with her, the number one thing that I liked was the drive and the effort, you know, and I want to do it. I want to get it right. And she's like, dude, listen, we might have to jump in the studio a second time, because there are a couple things that can be redone. She goes, that's cool, man. If we have to jump in a third time, I'm game. So when I heard that, it kind of made me feel like, okay, if someone's willing to put in the effort, I'm willing to do the same. You know what I mean? That's how music happens. It's not about 9 to 5 and you finish a song. Nah. So if it takes 3 years, it takes 3 years. Sometimes it takes 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So you never know.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's all about working with people that have the drive. And every artist I've worked with, Neha Kakkar, for example, every time that girl sings, she sings with a smile. Yeah. And she gets into the record like that's her song. You know what I mean? And then right after, she's gone. And you don't need to call her until the song's fully done and just about to be released. But that moment when you're in the studio with that girl, she gives her 5,000%. And that's very important. Same thing with someone like Vishal Dadlani. you know. And even Jonita, I just worked with her recently, and she just came and did her thing real quick, got into it. And that's what's important, is when you're in the studio, it's just, you're meeting on a musical level. What happens before and after don't matter.
So you've obviously recorded with amazing women. You also did Sean Kingston.
Yeah,
which is really
yeah,
cool.
that was
Love
dope.
Sean, yeah.
That was dope.
So do you have a preference? Do you like having like, you know, a bunch of guys on a track and kind of doing like a anthem, or do you like doing like the
Both.
duet, romantic,
Both.
ballad? Okay.
Both. Yeah, 100%. So right now I got like 4 or 5 love songs coming back to back.
I love when you do love songs, by the way, because your voice, you're very good at actually getting those emotions out, which you would think you wouldn't be able to, because I know you do party anthems too and get everybody dancing.
Actually, I prefer love songs, to be very honest. I prefer,
because you're so romantic and emotional.
That's true. And I prefer that. It's just when it comes to sad songs, sometimes it's difficult to record them because I'm not sad, and it's not easy to jump in and out of that. Because if you're doing a Bollywood sad song, you better be really sad.
Yeah.
Because it'll show in your voice.
Yes.
And if people can't feel that energy and connect with it, it's a waste of time. You can't just go into a studio, sing a sad song, and leave and go party. So I won't record a song that's intense or deep, like Jia Marke, the song I just did. I just couldn't record it for the longest time. I was just like, nah, just scrap it. Maybe 100 versions until I kind of got into that zone, and then it was like, okay, I feel that energy, and it's gonna translate. So I prefer slower records. I prefer radio records. I prefer tracks you can perform at festivals.
Yes.
Yeah, but
You're amazing at festivals.
I prefer
the
that.
The crowd loves you.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy, because there's more interaction and it's more musical.
Yeah.
Party songs, a lot of times it's the music doing the job, right? The vocal is just kind of there to just for the hook, really. And what happens is, this is another problem I've faced, is in Bollywood, I wear a hat. You know what I mean? So this is how I dress up. Yeah. So they consider this a rapper. Because it's like a stereotype, right? Yeah. So, and they've said to me many times, bro, you do party song, you're from Canada. It's like, nah. I'll do music that I'm feeling at the time. So when I play them love songs, they're not willing to take it in that easily, because they feel like, is it gonna work? This guy doesn't look like that love song type of depressed soul. You know what I mean? Hair all over the place, wearing slippers all day. That's like a good love song type of guy image. I don't know, that's what I think it is. But so I'm like, nah. So a lot of times now I put out Jia Marke, for example, and now everybody, I don't want to take names, but even actors that are hit up on WhatsApp, they're like, dude, that's you? I go, yeah. So you got to prove yourself. And I had to prove myself in a slow song vibe in Bollywood. People know I could sing slow. I started my career from slow songs, you know what I mean? But over there, it's like, okay, you got to prove yourself. Now they'll be open to me sending them music. Are
you considered, now that you've made it over there, or are you
no,
still
hell
there?
No.
Which is crazy to me, because I feel like you've been in this industry so long. You have so many amazing songs, and I'm like, why is he not getting his like due respect?
That's because you know me on a personal, and we've crossed paths and stuff like that. But you don't understand. India is 1.3 billion people that we know of, right? I don't even know how many millions are unaccounted for, but I'm saying it's an insane industry, massive market. People just look at, say, Arijit Singh, right? Let's take one example. Yeah. And they go, oh, Arijit Singh, he's doing all these stadium gigs, and he just came up out of nowhere. Nah, he didn't come up out of nowhere. He put in 15 years. Yeah. His backstory is insane. I don't want to snitch him out, but I know his backstory. Yeah. And if I told you his backstory, you probably want to make a documentary on that. You know what I mean? It's crazy how much this guy's put in. He's just been around music his whole life. You know, so he had his moment. And that's what I said to you, is when you put in consistent work and grind, you don't even know when your floodgates are going to open. It'll just happen out of nowhere when you least expect it.
It sounds like for you, you don't really have sort of milestones in place to gauge how far you've come. So how do you know, like, or be able to appreciate how so? Because you're always thinking, okay, what's the next project, right? Do you actually take time to just go, wow, look at all the things I've done. Like, I've pat on the back here, Parichay.
Nah, I don't.
Do you feel like you need that, or no? No?
I don't.
That's really
I really don't. I don't. A lot of times people say that, dude, you got a song with Kingston, holy this. But to me, it's like, whatever, on to the next one. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I got immense respect for the guy. Like, at 16, he was a superstar, you know what I mean? and when we got in the studio, he kicked it in front of my eyes, like right here, without even writing his verse down. He just sang it into the mic one time. So that's an artist that knows what he's doing, you know what I mean? So that was great. But what I'm saying is, yes, you can sit back. And obviously, you got to sit back and reflect on the things that worked in the song. I would do that. 100%. I do it all the time. That, people like this. stick with that.
Yeah.
Because it's very difficult to find something that really works for yourself. Not you, I'm saying anyone, right?
Yeah.
But when you find that, stick with it. So when something doesn't work, you kind of switch it up a bit.
Yeah.
So I will take back feedback and sit and reflect and say, okay, this worked from this song, blah, blah, blah. This did not work. So the next record, we got to do this from a promotion standpoint. This worked. This did not work. Let's switch it up. Things like that. But yes, I have goals and we create our own milestones and stuff like that. But you can never predict what the results are going to be, right? So I could say, yeah, by December, I want to put out 8 videos because that's in my control. So I can do that. But I can't predict that by December, I'm going to have 37 shows and $2 million in the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you can't do that. So you got to set goals for yourself, but what the results and what the feedback's going to be is impossible to gauge. The ultimate goal, honestly, like I'm trying to be humble, but I want to be legendary. Straight up.
What is legendary to
Legendary
you?
to me is I want people to be like, holy, this guy. Do you know what Muhammad Rafi is?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what Lata Mangeshkar is?
Of course.
Do you know what Rahman is? These are legends, right? So I'm thinking even bigger than that because I don't want to just do Bollywood music. I'm from Toronto. I love Canada more than anything, right? Yeah. And the West. So this is where I'm at forever, no matter what. I'm talking Hollywood, Bollywood. So yeah, make that insane impact in Bollywood because that's where I started. Now look, if I reached out to Sean, for example, and I didn't have what I had in Bollywood, I don't know if I get a record with him. Let's be very honest. You know what I mean? Because there's a ton of mainstream artists from here. I'm not sure if they all have songs with mainstream artists. I'm talking about, local artists. But so it's important to always be a master of something before you're into everything. So since I'm there, I got my foothold. I've kind of created some sort of a reputation for myself. But I know I'm still at 30%. In X amount of years, a year, 2 years maximum, I'll be at, I know, 80% of where I want to be. Then I diversify. It's kind of like investing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, now I'm investing in this company. I want to make sure I give it my 100%. Once it gets to a certain stage and I know blah, 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 then I diversify and go into different markets and verticals and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of my goal is now I'm already working on mainstream stuff here. But I don't want to dedicate too much time to it because it's going to take away from my main hustle. Once I get to a certain stage in my main hustle where I know, okay, killed it, obviously go to Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
Of course, no question about it.
That'd be amazing. And you
That's
do
the
so
goal.
well.
But I won't sing in Hollywood. Very likely. That's more on a production level.
Okay. So in terms of being able to work with anyone that you want, I feel like you've already have a really impressive list. Is there anyone you haven't worked with that you're like, I've got my eye on you, I really want to do something with you?
From mainstream game or
anyone,
from Diljit?
whatever.
I want to work with Diljit for sure.
Yeah. And why is that? What
I think again he's another example. People just see, oh, Diljit, he's so big and now he's killing the Bollywood game. The guy's put in his hustle, man. He's put in his time. You know what I'm saying? He's been through his insane ups and downs, and I know what those downs are. You know what I mean? Those downs are not regular downs.
What are those downs like?
Those downs are not 9 to 5. Oh my God, I got laid off downs. Those downs can be severe depression. You could go through moments in your life where you're like, man, I have it. I know I have it. I know I'm better than y'all. You go through those moments where you sit there and you go, I'm better than you. My shit is better than yours. I just don't have a platform yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is intense. That's crazy because I've had my moments where I'm in a different country. You know, no real friends, different vibe, and it's just the industry. You're just there for work, and there's not much you can do in Bombay, to be very honest with you, other than clubs, bars, and movies. It's not like you go bowling, or you could, but I really haven't explored that much. So at that point, you're there for work. You know, it's not a cheap city to live in. No, it's very expensive,
and it's madness. Like, you know how we're used to here having like
there's no real
it's
system.
Like go
it's go yeah. and it's not the easiest dealing with locals. In terms of people are great, but if you want to get something fixed, or it's a runaround.
Yeah, you're starting from scratch because you don't know. It's
you don't know, and you got to find the plumbers and you know what I mean, the carpenters and all that.
I can't even figure out how to get around here. You know, we can Google Map there.
Oh,
there you're just like it's across from the petrol station by like Lucky's Jalebi Market. You're like, where is that?
Mumbai was built by the British.
Yeah.
Right. So the streets are not like ours, where streets intersect.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
everything's amazing.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Can you imagine if I told you to come here, just look for the nearest like Esso and 5 steps to the right, and then you'd be like, "Where am I?" You'd be in the lake.
So it's not easy to get around, but the good thing is, like I said, it's still very capitalist. You know what I mean? So if they find talent and they feel like you can bring something different to the table, they're open to it now, which is a good time, but it's not easy. So yeah, coming back to Diljit, he's been, like I said, he's put in his time. Even Honey Singh, people you know, decredit him all the time, or Honey's this and Honey's that. But the truth is, he changed the game. When I remember when I again, coming back to the earlier story I told you, when I met that composer in '09. And the one thing we spoke about is how many tracks I've got in that record. And I said, I don't have more than 16 tracks. Because here we don't use too many instruments. But in Bollywood, they're used to using a million different melodies, counter melodies, just packed with stuff. Honey changed that. I wanted to, but it's just I didn't get that platform like he did. So he changed it. And now suddenly everybody's using, you know, 3 sounds. Yeah. You know what I mean? So give him credit. I definitely give him credit. I met Ikka, who was part of his Mafia Mundir crew. Okay. When he came by the crib and when I was in Bombay, and he said, Paji, aapka to main Tum Habibi gana main aur Lil Golu hum log club mein gaate the. We used to perform your song Tum Habibi, and I'm thinking, what the hell? Yeah. That's crazy. Who would have thought, right? That was all of Facebook. And Lil Golu and Ikka were both part of Mafia Mundir. So Ikka said to me that Honey brought us to the mainstream. We were just making music in the basement, you know what I mean? And not basement, but wherever. And it was just like a hustle. It was a fun thing. But he actually commercialized it, showed us how to make money off of it, and brought it to the mainstream. So you got to give him credit. So that's what I'm saying. Every artist that you see out there that's killing it or killed it or had their moment, they've put in 10, 12 years that people don't know about. You just see the surface.
There's no set path. And
there's
so
no set path. There's no formula.
That's why I appreciate that you're saying that you never had moments where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can make it. Like, you're like, as long as I work hard, I will make this happen, which I think, honestly, is the way to do it.
No, to be honest with you,
you gotta believe in yourself.
I've had my moments.
Oh, you have?
Where can I cuss?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, because I just want to make sure it's in the back of my head. But I've had my moments where I've said, externally, I've said, you know what, f this, I'm done with it.
What made you do that? What was the breaking point where you're like,
it's just people and fake promises. It's people, the industry fake promises. But I don't really, looking back now, because I know the industry a lot better, I know how things work in the back end, I don't blame him. What happens is everybody wants to help. So you'll have a director confirm and give you his word and say, yeah, we're going to put the song in the film, and suddenly you start counting, you know, the next level stories about the mansions. I'm the mansions, but it just makes you feel good that, oh, you know what, finally I got this now. You know, it's going to pop off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tour. I'm going to have my, you know, my BMW. I'm going to have a nice crib and all of these good things. I'm not saying that's your sole motivation, but those are some of the things you think about. Anyway, so, and then those people don't come through. You know, they just disappear. And that's one thing which is very irritating, is instead of saying no, a lot of times people there disappear because they don't want to say no.
They're ghosting you.
Nah, but that's across the board. It's not me. It's everybody, right? They prefer not to say no. They rather just disappear. So it took me a while to understand that if someone disappears, it means no. But here we're so used to saying, listen, man, it didn't work out, blah, blah. Yeah. So you kind of have closure on it. But that's cool. Again, different turf, different rules. You just got to get used to it. So you have your moments where it's like, man, you just gave me your word. You confirmed everything. I worked on this for hours. I knew the path was open. I thought the gates were open now. And boom, you shut it back down. So that happens a lot. Again, it's different for everybody. Someone could just go there and become a star overnight. You don't know. There's no formula, right? But some of my moments where I've been like, man, f this, I'm done with it. But my subconscious mind has never had a moment where I'm like, I'm done with this, ever. Internally, I know that, yeah, I'm pissed, and I'm going to say this right now, but in an hour, I'm going to be back grinding on my laptop making beats. So
I totally get that, because I have those moments too where I'm just like, oh, this industry's so hard, and then I'm like, but what else would I do? Like, I hate it, but I love it too, right? It's a weird.
That's
it's
exactly
like,
what
it's
it
like
is.
that for you. Like, it would be a girlfriend that you're like, oh, I know she doesn't treat me right, but you're like,
but you still take
I love
her back.
her. I'm gonna marry that girl. I'm gonna till the day I die. I'm with her, right?
That's
and
true.
meanwhile, you're just like,
that's true. Yeah. Piss you off, and you have your moment where it's like, I'm done with you, but you think back and you're like, okay, I'm good now.
So how do you not get distracted? Because I know, especially in Bollywood, anything, once you have money, you've got a name, you've got connections, it's like the world opens up. Like, you can stay at the finest places. You have chauffeurs. Because I'm sure people are like tempting you.
Oh, no. I stay away from that, because I'll tell you why. First of all, I'm good. You can't reveal
You're a
too
good
much.
boy.
You're not a good boy, not good. I'm always bad boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at some point you kind of meet somebody that you want to hold down. You know what I mean? So that vibe is good. But I'm
Okay.
saying, I used to party like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
It was the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know what I mean? But the good thing is maybe it's genetic. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like once I got my focus on something, then that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. So it took stages because the initial stage was flopping on your friends. And that was hectic, you know what I mean? Because I had to hear
Which isn't easy,
100
by the way, to
lectures.
flop on
It was
friends,
100 lectures. Every
Yeah.
single man, you're always flopping.
Yeah.
So that was kind of stage one. Stage two was cutting off all the bullshit from your life, the negative people, just unwanted stuff. Just if that isn't on my to-do list, I'm not even messing with it. I don't care. So because listen, there's a fulfilling people in this world fighting to be stars in the music industry. The universe is looking at it going, who's working hard? And if you're putting in 30% of everybody else, why are you going to win? Even if you get that initial shot, it's going to be hard to sustain. It's simple, right? It's a law of, it's a game of numbers. So what you put in is what you get back. You put in 5,000%, you'll get it back. Yeah, it'll take you time, but the one thing that someone told me, I can't remember who told me this, but it just stuck with me, is the longer it takes you to get there, the longer you'll stay there. So this should be motivation for everybody. Man, trust me, if I run into people that tell me about their grinds all the time, right? And I can't say this often because I'm not gonna sit there and go through my personal experience with the people, but it's like, bro or shorty, you haven't seen the half of it.
Yeah.
Like, don't cry about that. And I'll tell you, a lot of stuff changed for me when I left and went to India. When I came back to Toronto, and some of my friends were crying about dumb shit, and I'm like, are you crying about that for real? Like, appreciate this, bro. I used to go stand in my backyard, just look up at the sky like, whoa, this is freedom. Because you go through those moments, because it's like, that's all you're there for. That's your 100% focus. You've put in 5,000%. You know you can get in the studio with anybody in that industry, I don't care who it is, and make them insecure, honestly. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, I'll do that, and that, because we put in the grind here. We don't have 100 people working for us. But obviously, it's politics. There's everybody. See, again, I don't want to use the word politics because that has a negative undertone to it. But when someone's put in the grind, they feel like, oh, I want to maintain the spot. So why am I going to let this new guy come in and take over?
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's human nature. So I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? But yeah, see, I can keep going on and on.
But that's why I feel like it is competitive, because like we know the industry.
It's very competitive. The way I think is, if you've decided that this is what you want to do, nothing can stop you. There's nothing. I didn't have anybody in the industry. Zero.
Yeah.
Not one person that I could reach out to and say, give me this and give me that. Nobody. Zero.
Yeah.
But now I have Karan Johar's number on my phone. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's he like?
I don't really communicate with him on that level, but I'm saying Ritesh Deshmukh is a friend of mine, so I can call him if I'm
He
Bombay.
seems nice.
Very, very nice guy, you know. And his dad was the chief minister of Maharashtra, so he's politically
Oh
connected.
yeah.
And I remember I was hanging with him. He was shooting Great Grad Musti, and he goes, he just called one of his guys in the trailer, and he's like, "Oh, Bentley nikalna." You know, I'm like, "Whoa, you're pushing a Bentley?" So he had a Bentley coupe in Mumbai,
Yeah.
and he had a Range there and some other bunch of other cars, and I'm like, "Whoa, this guy's like, they're killing it out there."
Of course.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a good vibe, and the service is incredible. It's like, dude, you got your glass of water or whatever you're drinking, you take a sip, you put it back, they'll come and move it back to spot it was at. It's like, bro, it's okay. It's just moved 3 inches. Like, you know what I mean? The service is insane.
He's like, let me move this glass.
Yeah,
It's my only job.
Music video shoot. I was shooting Let's Get the Party Started.
Yeah.
Right? And Fazilpuria was on the track. He's a really cool guy, and the whole crew was there. We're having a good time. And I wanted to kind of get into the vibe of the song that I was in when I recorded it.
Yeah.
And that was straight mashed up, turned up, chilling. So I got to the shoot, and this was like my first major well done music video, independently done music video shoot. So I got there, and I had 2 guys, right? Just their job was to make sure I'm good. So literally, I'm not even lying to you, I had my Coke bottle. Half of that was rum, and more than half was rum. It was just a Coke for taste or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was sipping on it, getting into the zone, getting into a vibe. And I would just, by habit, just, close the bottle, put it somewhere in the corner during takes, come back to it. This dude would pick it up and stand there like a table. And I'm like, whoa, this is next level, bro. I go,
Yeah.
don't worry about it, man. Just leave it there. That's cool. Like, you feel bad to a point.
Of course.
But that's their job. Their
But that's the
services.
lifestyle there.
Yeah, that's a lifestyle. They really make you feel like you're some kind of king or something.
Yeah, which that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a really cool lifestyle to go into, but then I feel like it almost distracts, because then you're so used to like, oh, I could get used to this, you know, everyone's doing it, that you're like, oh, but I gotta remember, I still gotta do the hustle, I gotta put the hard work.
Oh,
But
of
especially
course.
when I leave Bollywood and I'm going back to
Oh,
North America.
man, you're not getting that here.
Yeah, you're not getting that
That's
here.
holding your bottle like that.
I mean, I've seen you backstage at festivals. Most of the time, we're like, bottle of water, anyone that's a water, anything.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that here
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, you could put it in your tech writer. Let's see, festivals, it's tough to ask for stuff like that. If it's your gig, you put it in your tech writer and it's all there.
Yeah.
And people are very polite, and you'll have what you want.
I want
but
my
you gotta ask
M&Ms,
for it.
only brown ones, okay? Nothing else. Actually,
But
can we
you
talk
still
about
gotta
that?
ask for it though. Over there, it's
Oh, of
like
course.
even before you ask for it, you have three guys.
They just have
"Sir,
candy.
Samosa. Sir."
You're like, no samosas for me. I gotta keep this figure. I remember. I think this is from one of our first times we chatted. We were at the festival, and I think you were like, you've done festivals for so long, but you're like, it's amazing that when you started, you were getting like the crappy slots. You know, it's
Yeah.
usually the
Oh,
opening.
man,
And
I-
you were telling me like sometimes it was like 10 people, which I was like, what festival is 10 people? But that's not a good
I've
festival.
done that. I've done-
Yeah,
I've done
and
enough.
you weren't getting paid, and
No,
it was
no,
just like you.
exactly.
The people were mispronouncing your name, which
Yeah,
like
yeah,
is
yeah,
super.
that's
But
true.
and then it's like, now I'm the headliner.
Yeah.
Now I'm like the pictures on the
Yeah.
poster, and now I'm
Yeah.
getting paid like 5 times.
That was insane, because I remember I did this. I won't take names again.
Yeah.
I did.
Let's not throw anyone under the bus on here.
Yeah, exactly. I did this festival. 2:30 p.m. was my slot for 5 minutes,
Ugh. What can you do in 5 minutes? by the
and
way?
you know the standard crew of brown and black people,
Yeah.
Indians and Africans. We show up 45 minutes late. That
So
5
you
minutes,
missed your slot.
That 5 minute slot was gone 15 minutes ago, and there's somehow you just jump on. And I've done festivals where the song was not even done yet, and we've just rocked it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you go through that, and I look back and I go, see, that was quick.
Yeah.
That was quick progress, because again, let's be honest, the Canadian Desi music industry is you can't compare that to Bollywood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easier to move up here, but that still doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah. But for artists that are like thinking, okay, how am I going to get my big break? And I know people have approached me, be like, oh, you know, what should I do? I know it sucks to be on these festival circuits where you're getting like the first billing where there's like 10 people in the audience and they're like looking for food basically. But to get your name attached to that festival, I always say like, make sure you're getting video, because that's great for you to like put on YouTube and showcase.
100%.
Like, do that grind. I know it
Yes.
sucks,
Yeah.
and you're not getting paid, and sometimes you don't even get time to like rehearse.
But you got to put in your time.
You gotta put your
Everybody's been
time,
through
yeah.
that. Absolutely. In those 5 minutes, you tear it up, and that's
Yeah.
what we did. Even though it was 5 minutes, like I said, there's times where we performed unfinished songs because you just killed it in the studio the previous night.
Yeah.
You feel like it's gonna work tomorrow. Jump on stage and just give it your 1,000%. And I won't even lie to you. Get your video. Quick piece of advice for those grinding on those 2:30 p.m. slots. Get a good video guy.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in a time of video right now. To shoot you from the most amazing angles, so it looks like that was a 5,000 crowd sold out event, and you were the headliner. That's what it is, right? You want to put your best foot forward, because there's too many people doing that. If you're not doing that, you're falling off.
Yeah. So let's talk about the kind of role social media, personal branding has for you. So has it always played an essential role, or is it recently that has been very important to you?
Everything's changed.
Your latest single got already like over 1 million views or
1.5
something.
now, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and that was like within a day. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, like you are good. So how do you do that?
So how do I do that? I think it all starts with the audio. You'll be surprised if I tell you this. So I'll give you Fazilpuria's example, right?
Okay.
So he's the guy. He's done a bunch of songs. Ladki beautiful kar gayi
Oh,
choli.
yeah.
That's the guy, yeah, with Bacha, right? So I did a song. Party started with him. He came by the crib in Bombay. We're chilling, and I played him. And he's like, "Bhai, aapne aur kya kiya? Batao, play me some music." And I played him Peene Ki Tamanna, and he said, "Ye aapka gana?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Arey, ye to bahut baja, ye to super hit gana hai." I go, "Yeah, thank you, man." And he goes, "I didn't even know this was yours." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So then I played him the other song I did with Neha for the same film, Dono Ki Dono. He heard that and he said the same thing. So I played him a bunch of songs, and he goes, "This is you, this is you." I didn't even know that. He goes, "Bro, you're not promoting yourself." He goes, "Your songs have become big, right?" I'll give you another example. I did this corporate event in Budapest, Hungary. It was 400 people, all flown in from India, from some tech company. and they're all on stage wilding out. It was an insane show. I think there's footage on the internet. Everybody was just having the time of their lives, right? So, and then I said, I'm gonna do a song for you guys that I recently did, and blah blah blah. And I sang the song. Everything was cool. I thought they knew what it was. They knew the song. They were singing along. Blah. After the show, I had like 20 people come up to me and go, "Was that your song? We didn't know it was yours. That was it." So what has happened is a lot of the music I put out, these songs have become really big. Like Pine Ki Tamanna is played at every wedding in India, right? Every club, everywhere, but no one knows it's my song. So music, like I said to you, promotions and all this stuff is great, but the second my promotions becomes a bigger priority than music, I feel like I've lost the plot.
Yeah.
That's not my goal. My goal is let the music be bigger. Eventually, they both will catch up.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to Akon do this interview a little while back, and he goes, you know, when I put out Lonely, Locked Up, he put out Locked Up and he put out Lonely, and he said, everybody thought, who the hell is Akon? The song is amazing, but they thought I'm just some African guy, blah, blah, blah. He goes, because the song became really big. My brand, as in his brand, wasn't big. But he goes, eventually caught up when he did Beautiful and, you know, those mainstream kind of records. And he goes, that's when people went back. You know, I can't remember if Jay told me this himself, Jay Sean, or someone I was talking to. This was in England during the UK Asian Music Awards, that he actually sold more copies of Stolen and his first album when Down came than when the first album came. So what I'm saying is, yeah, you can promote, but if there's no substance in the music, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Secondly, you can just keep putting out good music. Eventually, it will catch up. People will find out, and they'll go back to everything you did the past 10 years. Just like Jay Sean's Down. When Down with Wayne was a big record, they went back and listened to his first album, and they bought all that.
True.
So he sold more copies of of his first album when Down came rather than when the album itself came. So it's fine.
Yeah.
It takes time, but eventually people catch on.
I'll get there. By the way, we should mention also Parichay is your real name.
Yeah, that's my
I remember
real name.
every time I'm like, it's got to be a different name. It's got to be like something really desi. And you're like, no, man, this is my name.
No, it is very desi. The problem is in India, they say it in a very different way, and I kind of hate it.
How do they say it?
They say it like Parichay, and it's just weird pronunciations, and I have to keep correcting them. I'm like, bro, don't say it like that, man. Because what happened was when I first started making music, I had P Rich because I have P-A-R-I-C-H.
Okay.
Right in my name, so I was gonna have P Rich, and there was something Leo and Party Rico and all these different. I have it on my Instagram now, but I had all these different names. But then this dude Kirk from my gym at Oreo, Peanut Plaza. He's
Shout out to the guy at the gym.
Yeah, big shout out to Kirk, man. Wicked singer, by the way. Wicked singer. So Kurt's like, yo, what's your real name, dog? And I go, it's Parichay. Parichay. He goes, that's a dope name. Just stick with that. I go, for real? So I kind of took his advice and just ran with it.
Yeah. No, because I was telling you, I've never heard the name. You're like, it's actually an Indian name. I'm
and
like,
the problem is there's a TV show with that name.
Oh,
so
I haven't seen
now in Google
it.
and YouTube, a damn TV show keeps popping up, even though the show is done, but they still have old episodes. And I'm like, man, come on, man. Change
Why
the
did you
name.
take my name?
Yeah.
Is there any sort of like role models that you listen to, any podcasts, any books that you read to just keep your mind in the hustle, right? Because like we all know the hustle game, it's a long game and you have moments where you're just like, oh. So what do you do in your personal time to just keep motivated?
I watch a lot of YouTube.
Who on YouTube?
Dave Pensado.
Yeah.
Go watch his show. Because you might not find it that interesting, but Dave Pensado is one of the best engineers in the world, sound engineers. So he's got this show called Pensado's Place, and he brings a ton of engineers and producers and stuff like that on the show, including Miles, who mixed my first and second album, Divana Tera. So he brought him on the show. Boy Wonder's been on it. So they discuss a lot of technical stuff and a lot of creative stuff, and that's a really good resource. Other than that, I've been to school. I've been to Humber for Logic production and stuff like that. So I don't read books, not at all. But I'm on YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
Just constantly learning different techniques and things we can try.
That's another thing I want to mention. You are constantly learning. Like I know you
Oh,
have, I
man.
think you have your own home studio. I always see
do.
photos
Always,
of you
yeah.
and you're always like tinkering around in there.
Yeah.
So it's like, you never stop learning.
I'll tell you something funny. In Bombay, I had my setup. It was just a laptop, 2 speakers, a keyboard, very basic. And I did a whole film on it, right? I did 4 songs on it. And Kumar Taurani, who's the head of tips,
Yeah.
he came, he said, yeah, listen, I'm going to be around the area. I'll come pop by the crib. I said, yeah, definitely. So him and his son, they came by the crib and they sat and he looked at my studio and he said, what's this?
Yeah.
I said, no, it's my studio.
Yeah.
It was, you did all 4 songs out here?
Yeah.
I go, yeah.
Like, was he like
could
saying
not
as he's
believe-
impressed or he was
No,
like,
he wasn't
really
impressed
this?
at all.
Oh, he wasn't.
But the songs were done.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Yeah.
But what would have what's the right word? The perception. If he had seen that prior to getting into the project, he would have probably said, you know what, you need to be in a bigger studio with the orchestra, because he comes from the 90s and the 80s where they had 300-piece string section and blah, blah, blah. But we have access to all of that on a laptop. You know what I mean? So everything was done on that one laptop. Obviously, eventually was taken into a bigger studio to finish it off and polish and mix and master and all that. But that's where it was produced. He couldn't believe it. It was like, yeah, we have access to everything on one laptop. But again, comes down to you got to constantly be updated with the new sounds and how do things work and how do you make it better and make it faster and all that stuff. So yeah, music's changing every week right now. It's crazy.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that you came on here and chatted with us, and hopefully people...
I want to congratulate you on this new show.
Oh, thank you.
It's good because, look, I can have a million things to say, but for someone to kind of bring different artists' stories together, curated for those that are trying to get on, that's a good resource for them. You know,
I already still feel like we just took a dent in your story, by the way. Like,
no,
I feel
that's true. How are we gonna run through 15 years?
I'm gonna need a documentary on you. I should do that. Do you like this idea? How about I just follow you on tour?
Give me a year, because I'm gonna be at a very good stage in my career.
So before I let you go, I need you to serenade me, because I'm sure our viewers and our listeners are probably like, okay, we gotta get him to sing something.
Oh man,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Come. I'll give you.
I feel like I should have like a glass of wine here and like sit back. And
I'll give you the new joint.
Yes.
I'll sing you 2 lines from that.
Okay.
तुझ में खो के तेरा हो के खुद ही को पहचाना जो मैं तेरे साथ जुड़ा एहसास हुआ तू वजह मैं फिर से जिया मर के.
See, this is why I love your voice. You're so good at that romance.
That was really rusty though, you know what I mean?
No.
But
Parichay, I have one request.
Yeah.
I don't know when this will happen, but when I get married, I want you to sing my first slow
let's
song.
do it. Let's do it. When's that happening?
I have no idea. So don't hold your breath. Tell me.
You know what it is? Everybody I was watching something last night. People put this marriage question on people. I'm talking about the Desi world, and the example they keep giving is Salman Khan is not married. He's 50-something.
Yeah, and he seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Yeah. Anyway, so good seeing you.
Thank you.
High fives.
Thanks for having me.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome. What for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no channel for champions and chain no fear. Yup, the champ is here. Switch gears, we're keeping haters in the rear. At the blood, sweat, and tears, and my goal so near. I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear.